I'm here today with Elvira Haberski. Recently, she just had a very important birthday. On January 19th, she had her 100th birthday. And we're here today to talk to her about where she lives in Holliston and how wonderful Fairview Street is and how wonderful Holliston is and how wonderful, from day one on, that she has had great experiences all the way from the South End in Boston all the way to Fairview Street in Holliston. She's been here for 60 years and she has a lot of experience to tell us about. Elvira.
Yeah.
So happy to be here with you today.
Same
and
here.
for inviting me over to have a little talk with you about certain things. And I'll bet you have a lot of things to talk about. After all, just a few days ago, you had your 100th birthday.
Right.
Yet January 19th.
Right.
1923 to 2023, which is quite a feat these days, don't you think? Yeah. Well, what I am interested in, first of all, is all about you. Now, from what I understand and from notes that I had been given, you had 7 children.
Right.
That must have been quite a ruckus around the house all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, which is wonderful. That is great. You also told me beforehand that you were born and raised at the South End of Boston.
Right.
And growing up there as a kid must have been very interesting in and of itself.
Right.
So tell me about that, first of all, about before you came to Holliston.
Before I came to Holliston, I lived in Florence Street in Boston, Massachusetts. And the area was all denominations. Blacks, browns.
Browns, yeah. Everybody.
Yeah, yellow, all kinds. And we all got along very good. My brothers played with the blacks. In fact, one of the blacks became a globetrotter.
No kidding.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
He lived up
That's
the
neat.
street.
Yeah. Fantastic.
But of course, we didn't think anything of it then.
Right. Oh, that must have been a really interesting place to live in, to grow up. Yeah. Really.
I lived across the street from the church, a Catholic Italian church, and I practically lived in there.
Fantastic. So that's where you got a lot of your education, experience, and connections with the church, because I do notice that you developed some really strong connections with St. Mary's Church in Holliston once you got here.
Right.
That's
yes.
right. Now, when did you arrive here in Holliston?
He was born in 66.
No, Robert was born 1960.
And that's when we came here.
Okay, so
'cause
he's
we
that.
needed room.
Well, yes, I can understand why.
We had 2 bedrooms upstairs, the 4 boys in one room, the other girls in the other room.
Yep.
And we managed with 2 bathrooms.
That's kind of a parallel experience with me. Now, I was one of 5, and we had pretty much the same setup.
When I was growing up, you took a shower once a week. You went to the bathhouse on Dover Street.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
You paid 3 cents. They gave you a towel and a piece of soap, a very small piece of soap.
That was the South End for you.
Right.
Definitely was. Yes. So, were all 7 of your children, were they born in Boston or were they born here in Holliston?
They were all born. Michael was born in Somerville. Then all the others were born in Cambridge.
Cambridge. Okay. And so you packed them all up and you all came out here. What brought you out to Holliston?
My husband worked for General Motors.
Oh,
and it was too far to go from Boston to there. So he knew Siraki, I guess.
Sure, yes.
He knew, because I guess he worked at General Motors.
Yeah. Well, was there also a connection? Because I kind of get the feeling that Haberski and Siraki were both really good Polish names.
Yes, they are. And I'm Italian.
Aha! All right. That's wonderful. Yes, I do remember the Sirakis because I grew up sort of abutting them. You know, they, in order to go visit the Sirakis, one of them was a friend of mine. I used to just walk through the woods, across the fields and through the woods in order to get to her house. So we were close by. Yeah. So that's really good. Good thing that one person brings another out this way because of a job.
And after I got here, I just loved it.
Yeah. When you were first told you were coming to Holliston, what was your feeling about it?
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, when we were at the Italian church, the priests from Italy came over and they bought that piece of land, Fatima Shrine, where Fatima is.
Yes. Oh
and
my
that's
gosh,
why we have Fatima there.
That's right.
And the choir went and sang there the first Mass. And, you know.
You were in that choir?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you had a little inkling about what you were coming to.
That's right,
Even
yes.
a little hint of it and everything.
And then I went to Cathedral High School in Boston. Graduated from there.
Marvelous. So you arrive out here in Holliston. Now, the house that we're in right now, is this the house you came to?
This is the we came to. We walked in the door. We just loved it. We didn't do a darn thing to it. We didn't paint it or anything. It was it was a palace.
Yeah, it really is.
And it still is my palace.
Yes, it still is, and you are still the queen.
Oh, I don't know about that.
So you arrive in Holliston and you have the whole pack of kids that you're bringing along, and they're going to be growing up in Holliston too.
Right.
Yeah. So that really kind of makes you a really tried and true Hollistonian.
Right.
Huh?
Right. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been here 62 years.
62 years. So, now when you arrived in town and you got into your house and everything, but then you looked out around the community, what did you go to first in order to make a connection here?
I think I must have gone. My husband took me to church because I didn't drive. Imagine coming here and not driving.
Yeah, right.
Finally, I learned how to drive. My husband tried to teach me, but he used to get mad at me. He said I was stupid, but I didn't know a damn thing about.
No. I mean, in Boston, you didn't need to know something like that.
I didn't know one thing about a car where all I knew it had wheels.
Well, that's what I would kind of guess, that you would arrive in town and your first connection, you would head out to the church. Now, I have one story about that. I did see in the notes about you that apparently you were quite a expert crocheter. And did you knit also?
Did craft. I did all kinds of
all
crafts.
those crafts, yeah. Well, the thing is, I had one experience many years ago, probably might be 10 or 15 years ago. And I went to St. Mary's and gave a talk.
Yes, I remember. I was there.
Well, I thought maybe you might have been, because, I don't know if this is your handiwork or not, but I still have that. Does that?
Oh, yeah.
That was given to me as a thank you for visiting with the group and everything, and I still have it.
Oh, my gosh.
Does it look somewhat familiar to you? It is crocheted.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard from several of the women that many of them were in that crochet group.
Right.
Yeah, quite a few of them.
We did a lot of charity work.
Yes, that's right.
Because we had the fair and we would sell the stuff
Yeah.
and then donate it.
Yeah, I can remember something about babies. You made baby hats?
I made baby blankets.
Blankets, yeah. But I still have this, and I still think about that group. It was a wonderful time. It was really great, and it was so fun to hear that this is what they were doing, because I'm also a big knitter.
Oh.
Yeah, so this meant a lot to me. There couldn't have been a better thank you gift than it could have come from any group. But I was really glad to hear that so many of the women there in that group, such as you, that you did this sort of thing. It was a wonderful thing. So it makes for a great community too.
It does.
Yeah, it really does. So when you got to Holliston, and all these kids, children tend to make you learn more about the community and bring you out to it. And since you had 7 opportunities to have your children introduce you to the community, what do you remember about the experiences with your children here?
Well, everybody got along on this street because it was a dead-end street, and it was safe.
Yes.
They could play out in the street, in the backyard, which they did most of the time.
Yeah.
My husband worked nights, so I had to keep the kids quiet during the day.
Oh, now there's a challenge with 7
when
kids.
He was when it was 9:30, he'd go to work.
Yeah.
I'd go down the cellar, and I would sew or clean or whatever. I'd do all my housework then.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's wonderful though.
But I didn't have much of a social life except through the church.
Through the church. Well, that is one of the major things that churches do provide.
Right.
And as you learned growing up in Boston, making a connection there, and then continuing the connection here, which is very important.
It is.
Yeah, very important.
Nowadays, you don't see that much of that.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe people are just spread out on many other different things, but I have seen also that years ago, that was really the main thing. After all, before TV and radio and movies and all that, that was one of the major links with groups of people, was exactly that. And so I can remember it even through, the 50s and the 60s, there was still that.
Right.
And then when we get after that, there were too many other opportunities maybe. Huh?
Right.
Yeah. So do you have any, favorite memories of living in Holliston?
Well, my kids used to go to Elvira's Farm. They all worked there. And then they went to Outpost Farm, and they all worked there because they would hire them at 14 or 15 years old. Yeah. That got them out of my way.
Could move them out to the farm, yeah.
And then I got to know Mrs. Murch, and
yes.
She used to make those beautiful, beautiful feathered...
The feathered wreaths, oh yes. Yeah, they were marvelous.
Beautiful.
She did them plain white, or she even colored them in marvelous colors. Yeah, just beautiful colors. Oh yes, I remember that too. I remember talking to her quite a bit.
Yeah.
And she had some very interesting stories for this part of town.
I bet.
Yeah. Yes. But I understand that you also spent a little bit of time at Outpost Farm as well, didn't you?
I did. I worked there for 13 years until we went to Florida.
Okay, so what did you do at Outpost Farm?
I worked at the register, cooked, whatever had to be done.
Yeah, marvelous. Now you say then you went to Florida.
Yeah.
Retirement years?
Yeah, my husband wanted to go to Florida, and I didn't want to go and leave the kids. But he says, well, either you come or you stay home.
Well, I suppose
I couldn't do that. So I went.
Yeah. How long were you in Florida?
13 years.
13 years, okay. Yeah.
And it was fun. It was nice because the kids would come and visit. They were at that age that they could visit.
Right. Yeah.
But after that, once they got kids, and they didn't come as much.
Yeah.
So I felt like I should come back home.
Yeah.
And we hadn't sold the house.
Good. Yeah.
We left the house with
Joan
to watch it, and she could stay here.
Yeah.
She didn't have to pay any rent.
But
she had to keep it and pay the taxes. That was
Well,
it.
that's a good thing then.
Yeah.
A very good thing. You came full circle, didn't you?
Right.
That is marvelous. So what other stories might you have about living in Holliston? I mean, you've spent a lot of years here, and I bet you had some experiences that are rather unique to you.
Oh, I don't know. I just went around. I enjoyed volunteering, so when I come back from Florida, I went to the nursing home there and asked them if they could use me, and of course they could. And I stayed there over 20 years.
Oh, there you go. All right.
And
you
I
made a
loved
real
it.
connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what kinds of things did you do at the nursing home? That was Timothy Daniels, wasn't
Right,
it? Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
First thing I did was I'd go to Mass, and then after Mass, I'd go to the nursing home. And the first thing I did was sit-down exercises with the residents.
Yes.
And then we'd play crosswords, or we'd do crafts. We did a lot of crafts. And they were at that age that they could do that, but I don't think they can do that now. They just can't.
Yeah.
Because they're all getting old and, you know.
Well, did you teach a lot of them how to crochet, I hope?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't quite gotten the knack on that. I'm fine with knitting, but, you know, the crochet, I see all these marvelous patterns that everybody does.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I go, you know, when I said, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And then, you know, I get into like single chain and double chain, and then I go, then I'm like,
Well, you can always now go on the computer.
oh, you notice that, yeah.
So you can learn a lot like that.
So do you spend any time on the computer? Have you fallen into that?
Yeah, I do answer, you know, anybody that writes to me, I write to them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now I'm getting so that I can't write to, you know, I can't. It's too much.
Yeah. Well, you can always go back to letter writing, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, the art of, yeah.
And in my spare time, I used to make cards and sell them.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's marvelous. That's really great. So, did you draw them yourself, or how did you do the cards?
Oh, I cheated. I would cut something out of the paper, a magazine or something, and glue it on the cards that I folded, you know.
Yeah.
Because I used to work at Rustcraft greeting cards
No kidding.
in Boston.
God. Oh my gosh, really?
And so I got a little bit of knowledge from
Yeah.
them. And I liked it. And
That's
it was easy. And so I tried selling them for 50 cents a piece. But I didn't go out of my way, you know.
Well, you have a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit.
Is that
then.
what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Oh heavens, yes. Oh, do we? Is
I
it?
just wanted to ask about Campasol when she first came
Oh,
in.
okay, yeah.
Milk man there.
Oh, okay. Now, when growing up, of course, in Holliston, one thing that we all experienced, if we were here long enough, and you were, and so was I, Campasols would come by. Did you get milk delivered in the morning?
For nothing. The first month, they came up to me and they said, we'll give you a whole month's free milk. I says, oh, but you don't want to give me a whole month of free milk because I get a lot of milk. He said, that's all right. Whatever it is, that's what you'll get.
Oh my God, that's great. That is wonderful.
I did. And then he said, and if you go pay by cash to my mother, she'll give you a bottle of chocolate milk.
Oh, let me tell you, the chocolate milk, I still to this day remember. My father was friends with several of the Campasols, and I remember driving to the farm, pulling up in the truck and everything. My father got out, and somebody came out of the barn with a bottle, a pint bottle of that chocolate milk. To this day, There is no better chocolate milk in the
Milk than
world. I mean, I've tried chocolate milk everywhere. It never was the same as that bottle that came out of Camposol's. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know what you mean when you say about the chocolate milk.
Yeah.
And so that kind of hooked you in, huh?
Pardon?
Did that hook you into buying more milk?
No, well, I got whatever I
What
used
you
to
needed,
get,
yeah, right.
I think it was 6 half-gallons or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you had
Every
7
other
kids.
day. Every other day, yeah.
Honestly, because I can remember that too. You got your regular, the regular whole milk, or you got the milk with a little bit of the cream on the top.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I remember that. But oh yes, I mean when you ever said the chocolate milk from Camposol's, that really rang
Very
a bell
generous.
with me. Yeah.
They were.
They were. They were very much
They were
so.
a nice family.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic. So you seem to have managed to cross paths with all that was really important in Holliston, be it the Murches and the Outpost Farm and Campusop, St. Mary's Church.
Right.
All of that.
All intermingled.
All intermingled, absolutely. Right. Yeah, absolutely. That is wonderful. Yeah. So what else? Anything else about Holliston?
At the church, they wanted teachers to teach catechism, so I volunteered for that. They would come to your house, maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And
would it be just mostly children that were sort of in the area?
right,
Yeah.
right. So I had my son Stanley, and then Mr. Nick's son, one of them, I don't know which one it was, but they would come. So I had about 6 kids and tried to teach them catechism. I don't know if I knew much about it either, but anyways, that's what I did.
That's marvelous. So, your recent birthday, did you do anything special on January 19th or thereabouts in order to commemorate that?
No, it was just that all my friends came.
Only just your friends
the
came.
baker baked me a cake, and everybody started bringing me flowers, and it was like a funeral home.
Well, I noticed a lot of cards that are here all over the room. Absolutely.
We'll have to count them. So
that is marvelous. That is really great. It really is. Yeah, and I congratulate you for the 100 years.
Thank you.
And still keeping yourself together.
Well, I'm trying.
You have. Yeah, you have definitely done that. So, yeah.
Oh, no, but you should ask the parade. Just tell the parade she had.
You had a parade?
Oh, yeah, drive parade, with the cars.
Really? What, right out here?
Yeah.
Oh. Woke up the neighborhood, huh?
I guess so. And we even had a boy from the Boy Scouts play the horn. The trumpet. Happy birthday. Yeah.
That's great.
So that was nice.
Wonderful. Fantastic. So a parade up and down Fairview and a trumpet solo.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty darn good.
Well, I was surprised. I guess that was the idea.
That's right.
And
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of it were my relatives from Walpole.
Oh, they came from far and wide, did they? That is fantastic. No, that's a very nice gesture, I think.
It is.
Yeah. That's really great. So are you going to continue maybe for a few more days to celebrate a little more, party a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stretch it out as long as you can, okay?
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't know how long, but
Oh, no, that's okay.
But I've heard of people 114 and
Well,
God
then,
help me.
yeah.
what?
God help me. I said.
Well, in a way, that's kind of apropos and an appropriate comment because it is just what helps. but yeah, I mean, you know, usually you run into, you know, perhaps this is even fair or everything, but somebody at your mature age always gets the same old question. Oh, what's your secret? Yeah, I know. And
You want me to tell you?
go ahead, tell us, yes.
I never drank. I never smoked.
Good.
I never had sex. Only 7 times.
Only 7 times. Well, I would kind of figure, you know, all right, you lived a clean life, you attended church, and you kept to the straight and narrow as much as anyone could.
Oh, I'm a sinner just like everybody else.
We are sinners all, aren't we? Yes, at
Right.
one point, yeah, absolutely. But I think probably, maybe you sinned a little less than everyone else, huh?
Oh, no.
Well, I must congratulate you, you know, on your birthday and for living that good life for all 7 of your children and everything that involves.
That's right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. You know, and
You're
it's-
welcome here anytime. I have a friend that comes on Wednesdays, and she always says to me, you know, your house is like a swinging door. Someone's always coming in and out.
I think that's a good sign.
I think so, too.
I think it's a very good
enjoy
sign. Yeah.
people. I always did.
Well, that's it. And also, you crochet and knit.
Yeah.
You know, they do say that crocheters and knitters keep their brains young and
Yeah,
strong.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
And
I think it's
keeps
true.
me doing something.
Well, that's it. Makes you keep thinking about something and looking at a challenge using your hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, you know, the crocheters of St. Mary's, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that they're on the right track.
that's right. I wish more people would start doing that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, keep that crochet needle handy, okay?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
But my hands don't work like they used to.
Just take your time.
That's all I do.
Just take your time. There's no rush on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially, you know, this one here, you know. I still have this from
from
St.
the-
Mary's Crocheters, so
yeah.
it's still dear to me.
Yeah, and it's nice and warm.
Yes, it is. And you know what? I can't imagine how they know that it was going to fit.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
guess we made them different sizes,
I think so. Yeah.
and we just guessed.
You looked at me like that. Yes, but this is a tribute to them as well. Well, Anne, you know, like, you know, growing up in a household where I think you girls were outnumbered by the boys, weren't you?
4 to 3. Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
I lost one boy, passed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then now I have 3 and 3.
Well, God rest his soul.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I pray for him every day.
Good. Yeah.
Every day.
So, Anne, growing up, just you girls outnumbered by those boys.
We kept up with them. We gave them a run for their money.
Good. All right.
Yeah. We did. We all hung out at Murch's Farm, Outpost Farm, playing in the haylofts, playing in the chicken barns, the turkey barns up at the farm, on the golf course. Up at the pro shop, that's in the winter. We all sledded up there.
I must have just missed you people.
McPherson's.
Yeah.
We were. I mean,
Yeah.
this was our little circle.
Yeah, I remember playing in the hay barns along with
Yeah.
the cows up at Murch's
Yeah.
barn. Same thing. I guess I was just a few years before you.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, with Gail and Ellen and
Yeah.
Tommy and all
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
we mostly stuck to this neighborhood. You know, like a 2-mile radius.
Yeah, marvelous.
I mean, there's
was
places in
no
town.
need. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
no need to be any further. You know,
I
there's
grew up
enough
here, and somebody will say Mudville. I never ever, my whole life, knew there was a place called Mudville. I never knew there was a place called the Queens. What are
I know.
these?
Oh, that's yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, did you just make them up? And they said it's. So
You
we
did
really
not
kept
need
to this.
to. Yeah,
you
really,
really didn't
yeah.
need friends when you had so many brothers and sisters.
That's right.
So-
Well, knowing what is around here, what be it the Murch's Farm or up at the old quarry. I
Yeah.
mean, there are a lot of places around here to explore and experience. And, and I do remember hanging out at the barn.
And a
at
lot of these
Murch's.
neighbors had
Yeah.
multiple kids like we did.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
they were big families.
Right.
The Whites had like as many, the Bros, everybody had a lot of kids.
That's kind of neat.
So,
yeah,
You know,
that is.
the Scanlons, there was
Oh,
numerous.
yes, that's right. Yeah,
They lived up at the top of the hill.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So-
And well, all right. Now you also all of the years that you spent here, it was before and during the start of like the golf course, for instance. And I don't know. Did that have any effect? I mean, are you a golfer?
Hated golfing. I mean, still do.
Yeah.
Live here. Football. You can still hear the games out the window at night. Hated football.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, we would play out back, get golf balls and stuff like that. But
And
we
sell,
mostly hung at the farm.
And
it was,
sell,
we all loved.
Yeah, you went
farming.
that away
Yeah.
instead
and
of that way.
sell Kool-Aid,
Did we? I don't know.
yeah, to the golfers.
Oh, did you? Oh, entrepreneurship
Yeah.
again. Yeah. That's great. Marvelous. It does sound like a wonderful place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
to grow
is.
up in. Yeah. Yeah, marvelous little end of town. This was known, the only thing I know of for a name for it was the West End.
Nope.
The
See,
West
I
End
never.
started at Chicken Brook, more or less. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I never-
And they really didn't use that all that much. But
We would venture as far as Wasika. We would go as far as Wasika,
Wasika, yeah,
Highland,
yeah.
up to where you could get in the quarry from this end of Highland Street.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
And,
Yeah,
and just a big circle.
yeah. Seems like a pretty good piece of
Yeah,
territory. Very,
it was.
a lot of interesting stuff up around
Very,
here.
very.
Yeah, yeah. Little known secrets of Holliston neighborhoods.
Yeah,
That's
it
wonderful.
was fun.
Great. All right, Elvira, I want you to name off all 7 of your children.
Michael, Paul, Marie, Stanley, Anne, Robert, Joan.
Oh, so Robert is the second to the youngest, huh?
Yeah. After 6 years, I thought I've had it, but then
You added one more.
and then, but she was the best.
She still is the best.
I told the doctor, when he told me I was pregnant, I didn't even know I was 44, and he said, "You're pregnant." I said, "No, I can't be pregnant." I says, "I have 6 kids at home." He says, "You're pregnant."
Now you'll have
He
7.
says,
yeah.
"But believe," I says, "I don't want this baby."
But she was a gift, wasn't she?
And he said, "This is going to be the best baby you have because look at all the other kids that are going to help you."
And my sister Joan to this day is the best.
Is
the
She
best,
is
right,
the best,
Yeah.
the best person in the world.
I've
Yeah.
seen that. I've seen that in other stories. A similar story, like the surprise baby at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah, that's right. Turns out to be the biggest gift. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you had Joan.
Me too. Me too. We used to have to drag her every place you know, because I couldn't leave her at home.
Right, yeah.
And we drag her to Florida, and she hated it. So they all call her the queen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a youngest sister that kind of carries on that particular spot as well. Yeah, yeah. She was the number 5 out of 5. Yes, same thing. Same thing. That's wonderful. That is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elvira. Thank you for me coming to your home to talk to you today about
Anytime.
Holliston. Anytime? Okay, I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
All right?
Have a cup of tea.
That'd be great. That'd be great. So, for Holliston People and Places, I'm Joanne Hulbert.